Hello, all my YouTube folks. I'm coming at you from a slightly different location because, frankly, my two little cats just won't behave. My girl cat she is complaining about something. I can't figure it out, but she won't let me film a video without screaming her little head off. So I'm going to have to go attend to that. I thought a little time alone might do her some good. She has food. I'm not like starving her or anything. She has food. She has water. Just something's not perfect for her, and sometimes she acts that way. Anyway, I felt it necessary, so I'm coming to you from the public bathroom at my park because it's the only other thing I can think to do. So I was just looking at the calendar and I realized that in 14, 15, 16, 17 days, October 2nd, is a year from when my wife asked for the divorce. I guess technically it was very early in the morning of October the 3rd. 3 days after I thought we made a little headway in our relationship. And we've been separated for longer than that, but that's a very kind of long story, and you know, my headset's kind of weird there, and I'd rather not get into anything really long right now. Kind of the point of this video is simply to point out that I have had a good amount of time to reflect, and I am upset on many levels. I think that our relationship was completely salvageable. I think that we had a lot less problems in our relationship than a lot of couples do. But, you know, when somebody comes out and asks you for a divorce, I think it's difficult to trust them again after that. I just feel like we could have gone about this a number of different ways to try and save things. I am not trying to say that either of us were perfect in this relationship. But I will say one thing for sure. I very much miss my wife. I I do miss her. And I think that this comes down a lot to the way that men and women are different. I stood in front of a judge and I told that judge that I was going to stay with my wife for the rest of her life or the rest of mine. And she told that judge the same thing. And I I mean, I know this is a big statement, but I would have done a lot to make that happen. And I don't necessarily think that most men go into a marriage expecting it to be sunshine and roses all the time. A marriage or a committed relationship of any kind takes a lot of work and a lot of effort on both parts. And I think that men generally realize that things just aren't going to be perfect. I think women tend to like the idea of being in love. They feel like you're supposed to be happy all the time. And, to a certain extent, I get that. I certainly get, wanting to feel that way. It'd be nice if life was like that. But in my experience, having been through one other really long-term relationship, life is not like that, and relationships take a lot of effort and work to get through. Not even just really to be happy in, but just to kind of get through every day in sometimes. I certainly felt neglected in certain ways in this relationship, and I know she did as well. I think that we could have easily worked a lot of those things out. And I really wish we had tried to work those things out. But, I was asked for a divorce, and I'll be honest, I felt blindsided by that. I'm not necessarily saying I didn't potentially see it coming, but I am, and I have said this to her, I'm very surprised that it went right there first. But I very much miss her. I don't I don't feel as though she misses me. Um, I am largely ignored. Uh, I'm lucky if my texts get looked at these days. Uh, I am told that I was loved at one point, but the way that I'm being treated now makes me feel like I never was. I don't I don't have the ability to treat somebody I didn't love the way that I'm being treated now. And I find this all to be very confusing and very sad, and of course, looking back on things now, um, the signs are perhaps a little more apparent than they were then. Um, I am deliberately trying not to elaborate too much because I don't necessarily want to lay an uneven amount of blame on her, but I suppose I could give one example by saying this. Um, Before we were married, even a year, we'd been together, you know, a few, a little over, we were together 7 years total as a couple, married 4 of those years. So that means we were, and I'm pretty sure we were engaged for 2. So we had a good amount of time as a couple before we became a married couple, in which we could have straightened things out with each other a little bit. I laid some things down, she laid some things down, and it seemed like things were going fairly well. If they weren't, I don't think we would have gotten married. But shortly after we got married, she asked for us to go to counseling. Now, I will admit my fault there is that I thought it was a little bit early for that. I thought, we've barely been yet married a year, and we've been together long enough that I think that we can talk this out. I wasn't necessarily sure what good counseling was going to do us right then. I felt like we were old enough and mature enough to kind of work things out. Then a little more time went by. Probably another year or so went by, and we were driving around in my car here in Arlington. I don't remember exactly what we were doing. I think we were out running some errands, and we were in some neighborhood. In fact, I remember just a beige brick house on a corner, and we passed this house, and she suggested that we go to counseling again. And things had been a little rougher over this year, so I agreed to go, except that I said, I wanted to make sure that she was genuine about this, so I said, all right, I will go to counseling if that's what you would like to do. I think it might be a good idea, but you need to set it up. So she never set that up. I asked her recently why she'd never set it up, because this is something that continually is brought up. I say, why did we go straight to divorce? And then she says, I wanted to go to counseling. And then I say, I agreed to go to counseling. You didn't set it up. And then the next thing is usually, well, I didn't think you would really go. Which is not the case. If I agreed to go to counseling, I was going to go to counseling. So I think that lays some equal blame on both of us there, and I'm not one-siding this too much. But to me, that's kind of where our relationship was at. But seemingly, kind of after that, things seem to stabilize for a while, and most men are going to think things have gotten, somehow we worked it out. I just thought that somehow we'd talked things through and all that had been worked out. But also, so again, that would be my fault, is assuming that. Then her fault would be just deciding for both of us that wasn't going to happen. Okay? So I guess that the reason that the divorce felt like a blindside to me was that I thought we might at least try counseling again or something like that. Like, hey dude, before you move up here, I think, maybe we should do some counseling and see if that's the direction we want to go in, which would have still hurt, but it wouldn't have made her so untrustworthy in my mind. Because, again, once someone asks for a divorce, how exactly do you trust them, I guess? But even though there were things like that going on, I genuinely wanted to make this marriage work, and I genuinely do miss the person that my wife was for me. I don't know that I miss the person that she's grown into, but I do miss the person that she was, and I just really wish things hadn't gotten here. I am very lonely. I find my life to be kind of empty. I'm sure that will change, and it hasn't always been that way over the time we've been apart, but it is like that a lot. So I just there go the lights. I just wanted to put that out there after this year of contemplation. Thank you guys for watching, and do consider subscribing to my channel. Have a good night.